The FDA decision on biotech's Alzheimer's drug aducanumab was supposed to be March 7th, but the FDA delayed it a couple months ago to June 7th. In November, the advisory committee voted with 8 no votes and 1 yes vote and 2 abstentions, that the one positive phase 3 clinical trial wasn't enough to support approval. Usually that's sort of the end of it for advisory committees, but the FDA goes off and makes its decision. But now 3 members of the committee have written an op-ed calling on the FDA to reject the drug. Is this bad news for Biogen? And do you think the members will have more influence on the FDA with this op-ed than they did at the committee meeting?
First of all, it's absolutely bad news for Biogen. I mean, this is unusual. I think you might even say it's unprecedented, or at least as far as I recall, it's unprecedented for FDA advisory committee members to take such a public stance and write an op-ed to push the FDA not to approve a drug. This is not what usually happens at all. And so I think it's definitely bad news for Biogen. I think this puts a lot of pressure on the FDA, especially considering that this op-ed refers specifically to maybe the FDA being a little too cozy with Biogen in the process of getting the NDA for this Alzheimer's drug prepared. And so, look, I mean, I think we're going to have to wait and see what happens. But if the FDA actually approves this drug, I think it's going to set off an absolute firestorm of controversy. Because if you read what these 3 members of the committee wrote in their op-ed, and if you look at how the committee voted and why they voted in the way they did, they have some good reasons for not wanting this drug to be approved right now. They think an additional clinical study is warranted.
The other thing is that these are really big key opinion leaders, and so even if the FDA does approve it, how many doctors are going to actually use the drug if the key opinion leaders in the space are saying we don't know if this drug actually works.
Yeah, and maybe the even bigger factor there, Brian, is how many insurance companies will say we're not going to approve it.
Very good point.
Yeah, there's no, even if a drug wins FDA approval, insurance companies don't have to cover the drug. And sometimes they don't. Sometimes they refuse to pay for drugs that have received FDA approval because they're not convinced the drugs are effective. And if that happens, Biogen will really have some difficulties on its hands. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen. It might not happen, but it could.